let's start our project and see the result. See what do we have until now. Okay, let's minimize them. No, and let's minimize these schemas. Okay, you can see that we have auth, logs, message, and test. We have 4 different controllers. So let's check them. In the message, I have message, mine, and create. In logs, I have API logs, logs mine, and I have auth. So let's test them. The first thing is, let's open our database again, and you know what, let's connect to our database again and check it. So in the databases, in user management, tables, let's check roles. Okay, select top 1000. Okay, roles are empty, and if we check the users is empty. Then let's check the message, empty. Let's check the logs. Yeah, it's empty. Let's check the user roles. Well, everything is empty. That's good. Let's continue. So let's go back to our controller. So this is the auth controller. First, let's check the seed roles. Try it, execute. Okay, 201 role seeding done successfully. That's so good. And if I check my database again and I go to the roles and select it again, you can see that I have 4 roles in my database: admin, manager, user, owner. That's so good. And if I again go here and try it again, you can see that I'm receiving role seeding is already done because we have done it already. And if I execute it again, you can see that I don't have any duplicate role. That's so good. So let's minimize this and continue. The seeding is done. The next API route is register. So let's register a new user. The first user would be me. So I say, let me zoom it a little. So Muhammad. For the last name, I will pass Tahiri. Good. For the username, I use Muhammad. And for the email, I use Muhammad at, let's say, gmail.com. For the password, I simply paste it 3 times to be easy. For the address, for example, let's say London 2nd Avenue. It's not important, it's just a test. So let's execute and see the result. Well, 201 user created successfully. That's so good. So let's go and check our database to see. So if I go to the users, you can see that Muhammad Tahiri is created with this data. That's so good. And also if we go to the user roles, you can see that this user ID has this role ID. This is a many-to-many table because the relation of the users and the roles are a many-to-many relation. So the user ID and the role ID would be saved in the user roles. This is it. Let's check the logs. Select top 1000. Okay, so you can see that we have a log for Muhammad. Description is registered to website, and this is the time, and this is the created time, update time, and is active is true, 1, is deleted is false, or 0. That's so good. So for the owner, you just need to manually change the role. Let's do this. So for now, let's check the user roles again. Select top 1000. So you can see that this user ID, which is me, has the role ID which starts with D93 and ends with 78. Let's go to the roles. You know what? Let's close everything. Okay. Again, roles and user roles. Okay. So the role starts with D, ends with 78. Okay, it's it, D78. It is user. So by the default, every new registered user has the user role. I want to change this owner manually. So only the owner would be manually changed in the database, and this is what is performed in the real world project. but the other roles can be changed in the software. So let's do this. So you can see that the ID of the user is this and the ID of owner is this. So let's copy the ID of this owner here and go to the user roles and edit it. So in the user roles, let's edit top 200 rows. And here, this is the user ID and this is the role ID. So I delete this and I will paste it here and I press enter. So it must be changed. Let's close it. And again, let's execute. Okay, this time you can see that for this user, I have the role of F and it ends with 69. Let's check F69. So you can see that it is owner. So it means that no, I am an owner because in the user roles table, I have the access of this owner ID. That's it. But in the logs, let's check it. We don't have a log of it because we changed it manually here. Now let's go to the front end and check it. So I must be able to log in. And before that, let's check it again. So can I register with this username of Mohammed? Let's execute. No, 409 username already exists. So this is good. It means that we don't have a duplicate username in this system. So let's check the login. So I say the username is Mohammed and the password is this let's check this M for the password and execute and see the result. 401, your credentials are invalid. That's good. It says that your username or your password is invalid. So let's test the real username and real password and execute, where you see that it is 200 and we receive a token, and also we receive the user info, my ID, my first name, last name, username, email, created ad, and roles. That's so good. And we can decode this token. Let me show you that. We have a website. So this is jwt.io. You can copy your JWT token. So let's copy it from here. And if I paste here, you can see that the algorithm of it and the type of it. And here is your payload. So you can see that my claims name is Mohammed, my claims name identifier or my ID is this, my first name is Mohammed, last name is Tahiri, and my claims role is owner, and I have this expiry time and the creation time, valid issuer and valid audience. So I have everything in my token. That's so good. So you can see that my role is owner. This is so good. Let's close it. So we can log in with this. In order to have access to the protected resources, we need to send this token in our request headers. In a standard way, you cannot send these headers. You can see that we cannot send any headers here. So you need to use Postman, or you need to have a way to send the headers in this Swagger. In my previous authentication tutorial, I used Postman and I showed you that how you can send your headers with Postman. But in this tutorial, I want to show you that how you can send your headers using Swagger. It is a good way to test it. So let's close this and go back to Visual Studio. Let's go to the program.cs. So here you can do that. Let's go here, and here we have builder.services.add endpoints API Explorer. Then we have builder.services.add Swagger generator, and here we can do that. So let's go here and we receive the option. That's it. So for the options, we can add some security definition to it. So the name would be bearer, and we pass a new open API security schema to it. And for this schema, we can have some different configuration. For example, for the name, we can use authorization. We can have in parameter location dot header. That's it. And also let's create a description for it. Let me paste it here. Please enter your token with this format, bearer space your token. That's it. And after this, let's have a type for it. The type would be security schema type dot API key, and a bearer format would be JWT. and also the schema would be bearer. After this, let's have another configuration. So for the options, you can add security requirement. So we have a definition and a requirement. So for the requirement, let's add a new open API security requirement, and we need to open object, and also in this object, let's open another object with new open API security schema, and inside of that, we can use the name bearer in parameter location dot header reference open API reference, and let's open another object. So ID bearer, and for the type we use reference type dot security schema. That's it. And also after the second curly brace, let's add a new list of a string. That's it. So here we have a parenthesis, so we need to close it, and that's it. You don't need to memorize this. You can simply copy paste this from the document, and that's it. So I think it's completed. And also let's add the course policy handler. So after this app and after this is development, we have the app.use HTTPS redirection. So after this or before this, let's use app.use course to avoid the course policies, and we use the options, and we say that options.allow any header dot allow any method dot allow any origin. That's it. So this will help us to avoid course policy errors. So I think everything is good. Let's test it again. See, can we send the token or no? Well, this time you can see that we have this authorization and we have this key here, this log here. It says that you can send token to this HTTP routes, or from here you can have the general token in your request. So let's log in again. So try it. I say Muhammad 1, 2, 3, execute. Okay, I received this token. Let's copy this token and go to this authorize, and here we need to send this in our request. So this is the format I'm showing you, that you need to use bearer space your token. So let's type bearer space and Ctrl V to paste it, authorize. Now we are sending them. Let's close. Now let's check one of them. For example, let's check the logs of me. Try it, execute. Well, this time you can see that I have access to it. Let me show you that what happened. So if I right click and inspect, let's go to the networks. Let's send a request again. Let me zoom to show you that. Okay, let's say API logs mine. So I will execute. So you can see that I have a new request. Let's click on this. You can see that in the headers, I say that my request URL is localhost port 7237/API/log/mine, and in the request headers, I'm sending this authorization, which is a bearer space and this token. And now you can see that my request is successful and I have access to this. So let's close this, and now let's minimize auth and logs and message. Let's test here. So for the public, you know that everyone have access to it. So okay, let's test the user role. For this, you need to have the user access. You can see that it is 403. If I log out, let me show you that. If I use this logout, I don't have any token in my request header. So let's minimize this and use get user role. So if I execute, you can see that it says 401. It means that you need to log into the server to have access. Also, this would be happen to the manager role because they are all protected. But if I use my token, bearer space token, and authorize and close, now you can see that if I go here to the get user role, the request and the response, the status code will be 403. It means that I don't have access to this role. So let's test manager role. Again 403, let's test admin role. Again 403, but we know that we have the owner access. Okay, 200 owner role data. It seems that our functionality is working correctly. That's so good. So let's go to the message and see the message of me. Execute. Well, an empty array. I don't have any message. Let's see all message. You know that as an owner we have access. We don't have any message. Good. So let's again go back to the logs. This time let's check the log of me. Well, you can see that the username, this is the /mine. You can see that I am the Mehmet, this username. So I have registered to website and new login and new login. So this is it. But let me show you that if I let's go to the auth and login and again copy my token. If I use this /auth/me and if I try it and I send my token here and execute, well, you can see I have a new token and new data. This time let's check my logs. Execute. Well, you can see that I have a new log which says new token generated. So it seems that our tokens and our authorization system works correctly. Now let's log out. Okay, let's create some users. Let's refresh. Okay, so in the register, let's try it. So the first name is 1. This is just a test. And 1. Username is user1. Email is user1@user1.com. Password is this. Address is user1 address. So execute. Well, user created successfully. Let's create 2. Execute. Well, created. Good. Let's create 3. Execute. Okay, user created. So we created some users. Let's go to the auth users and let's check what users do we have. So we have user 2 with access of user 1 with access of user, Mehmet with the role of owner, and user 3 with user. That's good. Now we can work on our functionalities. But before that, let me stop the video and create some different users to show you. So I created some more users. So let's execute. And you know what? Let's copy the URL and go to a new tab. It's better to see them here. Okay, so you can see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have 10 users. That's good. So let's work on them. I have user 6, user 2, and user 1, user 5, Mehmet, user 3, user 9, 7, 8, and 4. This is good. Now, let's, okay, we are not logged in. So let's log into the website using one of them. For example, user 1. Ctrl C, Ctrl execute, and we receive the token. Good. Let's copy this and use the error, a space, and this token. Authorize, close. Now we logged into the server using a user role. Let's check. So let's go to the logs, and first thing is, let's see, can we have access to logs? No, we receive 403 because we are not owner or admin. But if I say logs mine, we can say that for my user, I have the register to website and also a new login. That's so good. And also, let's check here. So, you know that we have access to public. Okay. This time I have the user access. Let's test it. Okay, user role data, we have access, but for the manager, let's test it. 403, we don't have access. Good. Let's test admin. We don't have access. 403. Let's test owner. 403. We don't have access. So good. So it seems that the user role is working correctly. That's good. Now, let's log out. And let's log in with my username of owner. So login. Mehmet. copy 1, 2, 3. Execute. Okay, let's use my token. You know that I am owner. You can see my role. Bearer space this. Authorize. Close. Okay. Now, can I have access to the logs? You can say it was 403 for that user, but no, yes, I have access because I have the owner access. I can see all logs of the system. That's good. So let's change the role of user 1. So he can go to the update role and try it. For the new username, I say for the user 1, I want to change its role to admin. Can we do this? Let's execute 200. Role updated successfully. Let's refresh it and check the user 1. So user 1. Now you can see that the role of user 1 is admin. Good. Let's change the user 2 to a manager. Execute. Role updated successfully. Let's check. This is user 2. If I refresh, now you can see that this is user 2. So now user 1 is admin and user 2 is manager. So good. Let's check them one by one. Log out. Okay. So let's log in with user 1. You know that user 1 is an admin. So let's receive the token and send it. Bearer space token. Authorize. Close. Okay, now I have admin access. Let's test my logs. Okay, you can see that I have the register to website and new login and user role updated and new login. That's so good. Can we have access to logs? Yes, we have because we are admin now. And that's good. So let's check this. So no, I don't have any access to this user because I'm the admin and the manager. I don't have access. For the admin, I have access, so good. And for the owner, we don't have access. Execute 403. So good. And that's it. So you saw that we can work on everything. And also, let's check that can an admin change the role of an owner? For example, I know that I'm an admin. So if I go to the update roles and if I reset, so for the username of Mohammed, we know that Mohammed is owner. Let's see, can we change this Mohammed to an user? Let's execute 403. You are not allowed to change role of this user. That's so good. It seems that our business logic is working correctly. So let's test the manager. So log out. So who is the manager? The manager is user 2. Let's test the user 2 and log in. Reset to user 2. Let's execute and receive this token. Authorize. Bearer space authorize. Close. Okay. Now let's check the logs of this user 2. So you can see that register to website, role updated, new login. That's good. Do you have access to the logs as a manager? No, we don't have access. Let's test the roles of the test controller. So public, everyone have access. For the user role, we don't have access because we are manager. For the manager, do we have access? Yes, that's good. For the admin role, we don't have access. For the owner, we don't have access. That's so good. So we check the user and the manager and the admin and the owner accesses. No, and also we checked the test controller, the logs controller, and the auth controller. And also let's check all of the usernames. Execute. Well, you can see list of all of them. Now, finally, let's check the message. So, who am I? I'm logged in with the user 2. So, let's go to the message and can we see our message? Oh, it's 200, but it's empty. Let's create a new message. So, I want to send a message. Who is the receiver? I set something random to test it. The text is hello. Okay. Hello. Let's send and see the result. Well, we received 400. It says receiver username is not valid. That's so good. So let's use a valid username. For example, Mohammed, and execute. So message saved successfully. That's good. Close it and check our message. Well, this time you can see that I have a new message. I have ID, sender is user2, receiver is Mehmet, text is hello, and case that is the time of creation. That's it. So let's create a new one. For example, to user1, hello user1. Execute. So message saved. That's good. Now if we go to the message mine, you can see that we have two messages. So this is the sender, which is me, and this is the receiver, which is user1. That's so good. So let's close them and log out. And let's log in with user1 to see the results. So user1, execute, login. We receive the token. Let's use the error space this token, authorize, close. Now let's check the message of me. Okay, mine. Well, you can see that I have a new message. So sender is user2 and the receiver is me, user1, and this is the text and this is the time. That's so good. Now let's see, do we have access to the all message? Let's try it. Execute. 200. Yes, it seems that we have access to all messages. Let's check that what was the authorization of this message. So let's go to the controller and message controller. And here we have access of owner admin. But I think, yeah, we are user1. I think we changed user1. Yeah, user1 is admin. You have access, of course. Because the user1 is admin, you have access to it. Because we changed the role of our user. So if you go to the logs of mine, you can see that the role of this user is updated. And now let's check the login result again. You can see that the role is admin, so the admin has access to all messages. That's good. So let's test one regular user, for example user 3. Let's log in with user 3, and before that let's send a message to Mehmet. So let's reset. So the username of receiver is Mehmet. I say hello Mehmet and execute. Well, 200 message saved. That's so good. Let's log out. Let's log in again, reset. Okay, log in with user 3 that we know is a regular user. Execute, receive the token. Control C, authorize. The error space, this, and authorize. Close. Okay. Now we are a user. And again, you know what? Let's reset and let's see the message of mine. Okay, my message is empty. Nobody has sent message to me, or I sent any message. So let's check access to message 403 because we are a simple user. We don't have access to it. Let's create a new message. For example, I want to send a message to user, let's say user 6, and hello user 6. Execute. Well, message saved successfully. Now if I go to the message of mine, I have this message from user 3 to user 6. That's good. Let's log out, and I think for the final test, let's use the Mehmet. You know that this username has owner role. Execute. Okay, you can see that this is owner. Let's authorize using the error space, this, and authorize and close. Okay, now let's go to the message and check all messages. You can see that we have, as an owner, we have access to all messages. For example, from user 3 to user 6, from user 1 to Mehmet, from user 2 to user 1, from user 2 to Mehmet. Good. And what is my message? My message would be on my username. So I'm a receiver here. Also here I'm a receiver. And if I send a message to, for example, user 8, and I say hello user 8, execute, message saved, that's good. And if I execute my user message, you can see that I have this message that I'm a sender, but here I'm a receiver and here I'm a receiver. That's so good. And also let's check that can we access all messages. Yes. So let's refresh and close this. So we checked API auth seed roles, we checked the register, login, we saw update role, we saw me, and again, let's see, can we have check this token? Yes, you can see that for me, it says that this is your new token. So when we pass a token to it, it will send a new token to us. That's so good. With our users, we will use this data in our front-end project. That's good. We checked this users load. So let's try it. I'm not protecting this because this is a tutorial, but you can simply protect it. How? You can simply go to the controller, which is auth controller, and here for the, let's find it, users. Here you can simply use an annotation like this and protect that. So good. So this is the user, it's working. The users with username, let's try it. For example, user 4, execute 200. Okay, you can see that we are receiving data of a user by its username. Also, we can receive just the username. We will use this list for sending new messages in our front-end project. That's good. We check the logs, so we have all logs. You can see that I'm receiving 401, and because I'm not authenticated, let's use login. Check that for the final time. Mamad 1 2 3, execute. Okay, I'm receiving a new token. Authorize. Error space this token, authorize, close. Okay, now let's check the logs. Okay, you can see all logs of our system. That's good. And also I can see my logs because I'm a user. I can see my logs, which is filtered by my username. Good. I can see message of all users of system. As an owner, you can see all of the messages, and also I can see the message that is sent by me or received. Here I'm the sender, and here I'm receiver, and here I'm receiver. That's good. And also we checked all of these tests. So this was the backend project, and we implemented anything we wanted. Let's refresh. So in the next section of this tutorial, we will implement all of these functionalities in React project, and we will test them with more details.